Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. Last time we stopped after helping some children with their inspirations about becoming warriors of light, and when we had a little talk with Elizabeth and the Exarch, and when Ween showed up and told us Thancred had collapsed. The fates seem determined to not allow us a quiet moment, but come, let us have the details from Ween. It happened after Alisaie and I saw the children back to Sparwix. We chanced to meet Thancred there, returning from his mission. He'd been shadowing Elizabeth around the realm, only to lose sight of him near the Crystarium. And he was in the middle of telling us where he'd been when he just crumbled to the ground. But Chirurgeons are looking after him now, with Alphonse standing by just in case his healing magics are needed. Since I couldn't do anything to help, I thought it best to find you, and the guard at the XIV told me where to look. I see. Cannot have been easy leaving Thancred's side. My thanks for bearing word to us. Come, let us hurry to Sparwix. They dragged you here too, did they? My apologies. How do you feel? Embarrassed, but otherwise well enough. I won't be staying overnight. The episode was not the result of any injury I could find. Thancred's air, however, did show signs of instability, and I did what I could to calm the fluctuations. And all this happened without warning? Not exactly. You would doubtless recall the time Urianger nearly drowned. I gallantly went to his rescue. When his water-walking charm failed, he was tired, as were you when you got back. We were both spent, yes, on account of which I begged us to rest, which in retrospect may have been a good idea. The fact is, I've been experiencing regular bouts of lightheadedness ever since, but there was no actual fainting until now. As Alphino observed, I have no lingering injuries, and it most assuredly isn't old age, which leaves but one likely cause. The link between body and soul is weakened further. Time goes short. We must complete the spirit vessel with all haste. To that end, Serenia, might I trouble you to make a trip to the source? In addition to looking in on our friends' bodies, I would have you consult Krile about our plan. If she has any concerns, we should at least endeavor to address them prior to proceeding. Yeah, Alisaie is of course worried because she just had a disease spell as well. In the meantime, we should get back to laying bare Elizabeth's plot. Thus far I've learned this much, that in each of the places he has visited, there have been sightings of suspicious black-clad strangers. Moreover, the coming of these shady individuals has invariably coincided with some manner of misfortune. Beasts terrorizing settlements, blight ravaging crops, you know the sort of thing. All of which serves rather conveniently to make Elizabeth's call for new heroes reverberate that much more loudly in the hearts of his audience. And you think these blood-clad strangers are Ascians? I do, and I fully intend to investigate further, though for that I shall require additional feet on the ground. You can count on mine. Gods know I've been itching to get out there for a while. Mayhap Urianger too can be prevailed upon to join in your efforts? He's already proved copious guidance on the matter of the spirit vessel's construction. It's for back Luke and I to wrestle with the rest. Well, if you can spare the old boy, we may as well make use of him. I'll go and give him the good news. You do no such thing. However heedless you are of your own well-being, if you care at all for Ween's feelings, you stay in bed until you're needed. Alphino and I will find Urianger. All being well, we have news to share by the time you return. Safe travels, Serenia. Lest you misunderstand, I'm not averse to putting my feet up. It's being coddled like a brittle-boned nonagenarian that shaves, so a 90-year-old. is what I believe. I know you cross the rift all the time, but please take care. Alright. Back to Madonna. Serenia with excellent, awful timing. You see, our friends, they've taken a turn for the worse. Krile's hardly had a moment's rest these past few days. She didn't want everyone to worry, so we've been keeping it quiet. But listen to me, I call my several receptions, I haven't been bothered to ask why you're here. Exactly that problem. So I think the spirit vessel will be ready soon. We want to make sure there's no problem at this end. You better talk to Krile. She's with the others in Dawn's Respite. Let's go and see her. Just prepare yourself, alright? And a new room opens in the Rising Stones.
Excuse us. This way.
Why is it so dark here?
I would rather you hadn't seen this.
I'm sorry. We have urgent tidings.
Oh, no, I'm not angry with you. On the contrary. I know full well how hard everyone has been searching for a way to return home. And I had hoped to afford you the time you needed. But given our friend's present state, perhaps it was for the best that you came. Stiff and cold, all of them. As if they were made of wax. Barely alive at all. And they had been doing so well. Save for occasional signs of etheric instability, they appeared to be in passable health. Then, quite without warning, things took a turn for the worse. A change for which even Master Matoya could offer no explanation. She could only remind me that the soul is yet an unknown frontier, and that much and more lies beyond our ken. But let's not lose heart just yet. At times like these, it is all the more important that we remain positive. Why? I but this moment succeeded in quelling a fluctuation in Thancred's ether. And while the others have weakened, they have remained relatively stable. I believe I may leave my post for a moment. So come, let me hear your tale outside.
What news from the first? I see. Work on the spirit vessel proceeds apace, but our friends begin to falter. As they themselves have observed, the link between body and soul has weakened. It's as simple as that. For now, I'm still able to quell the fluctuations in their ether, but it's only a matter of time. We'll lose them if we don't act soon. So if the Exarch is ready to attempt something, let him attempt it. As for the spirit vessel itself, if we seek to draw upon Allagan wisdom, we could do worse than consult an expert in the field. And I think I know just the man. Time being against us, it may be best that I go and solicit its aid in person. Even if it does mean leaving my patients. Serenia, could I spare you a moment while Krile goes and finds this expert of hers, I mean? There's a gift I was hoping to send to our friends on the first, you see, and since we might be waiting a while, I wonder if you wouldn't mind giving me a hand with it. My first attempt turned out well, so now I'm going to make it properly. I'll be in the kitchen at the House of Splendors. Meet me there. Well, I'd better be off too. I shall see you soon, either here or at the house, depending on how our patients fare in my absence. Okay. The kitchen is on the upper floor. There you are, Serenia. As I'm sure you've guessed, the gift is a bit of home cooking. Unlike Krile, I can do much to help our friends directly, but that doesn't mean I've been idle. No, I've been doing my best for the Order, taking on this job and that to keep our coffers full. I've even helped out with the Ashgardian restoration. And in the course of all this, my culinary skills have come on quite a bit, so I thought, why not make something for our friends? It's baking in the oven even as we speak. Shouldn't be long now. Wait, was it Alpha there? There, baked to perfection, even if I do say so myself. It's bread. But not just any old bread. This here is old world bread. Archon loaf, to be precise. It's what we eat over in Charliant. A simple fare, I admit, but I thought it would remind our friends of home. If nothing else, Krile tells me it's a good source of aether. So it should lend them a bit of strength at least. There's truly nothing like the smell of bread fresh from the oven. Well, and if isn't Ramburs too? I trust you require no introductions either, Serenia? Greetings, my friend. Full glad am I to see you well. I confess, I have a long list of questions to ask you, but while I will endeavor to contain my curiosity for the present, I understand our mutual friend is struggling with the application of certain elegant technologies. I've been keeping Rambrose apprised of events in the First. Suffice it to say, he knows about the Exarch. If anyone alive can provide insight into this matter, it's him and his fellow sons. Loath as I am to disappoint you, after so glowing an endorsement. Memory transference was the sole province of Allagan royalty, its mechanisms closely guarded secrets. If any record of them remains, we have yet to find it. To it, I regret that I can offer no solution to your problem. Which begs the question of why I bothered to come here, empty-handed as I am. The answer being, rather brazenly, to ask a favor. I would have you relay a message to our comrade. Tell him that we never doubted him. Never doubted that he would achieve all that he said he would. Those of us who remained behind have yet to play our part, but when the time comes, he may rest easy in the knowledge that we will most assuredly do so. And then the tower shall shine once more as a beacon of hope in this world and beyond. So tell him that we consider his duty done, and we should follow his heart now. Forgive me, but do you say this to discourage him from overexerting himself, or to encourage him to hold nothing back? That's for our friend to decide, but either way, I dare say a certain someone will be unimpressed. Well, there you have it, Serenia. If you would be so good as to see Rambro's message and Tataru spread to their intended recipients, along with my report, of course. Krile, before I wrap the bread up, would you mind giving it a try? Just to make sure everything is just as it should be? But of course, I'm always happy to lend my taste buds. Excuse me, Rambrose, as a fellow Sharlayan, may I trouble you for your opinion? Well, I usually have mine with a good dollop of Wallenberry jam. I suppose plain is best for sampling purposes. I see. Oh no, is it that bad? It is indeed, Tataru. Dense and unpleasant, exactly as it should be. Just so, the very taste of home. As you might expect, our countrymen have amassed a wealth of culinary wisdom from every corner of the world. But our native cuisine is, shall we say, a bit lacking. In Sharlayan, the majority regards food as a source of nourishment rather than enjoyment. Save for those who actually research the culinary arts, we pay little heed to the niceties of taste and texture. It was against such a gastronomic landscape that what is now called the Archon Loaf was born, a creation of an Archon who devoted himself to the study of bodily sustenance. In order to maximize its nutritional value, he incorporated copious amounts of pulverized fish and vegetable matter into the dough, all with nary care for those qualities which make bread enjoyable. The result is a flavor that continues to defy description. Yet, for all its many shortcomings, the loaf's nutritional value cannot be denied, and being a damnably convenient way to cater to one's bodily needs, it quickly found an audience amongst the busy scholars. Why, when I was a lad, my every meal was a sandwich made with this very bread, and whatever ingredients happened to be on hand. I suspect just about every Archon could say the same. Having been away from home for so long, I thought I might have forgotten the taste, but no, it's all too familiar. Ah, how it takes me back. If there's enough, perhaps you can spare some for the Exarch. He is certain to appreciate it. Oh, there's plenty to go around. I'll be sure to wrap up an exercise. Serenia, when you deliver the oath, please be sure to send everyone my regards. Tell them we're doing everything we can, that we'll be praying for their safe return until the moment they get back. And there's Alpha, indeed. And Omega is sitting on the table. Hello, Omega. Ah, you have returned. Good, good. There is much to discuss. The others are making their way hither as we speak. Welcome back, my friend. How was the journey? I brought some bread. By the 12th, Archon loaf. How did you come by this? I'd swear it had come straight from Charlian. Tataro made it. And Rambus said something, yeah. Rambus said that, did he? His words are very nearly as heavy as the bread, but I appreciate the sentiment. Should you have a chance, you may tell him that he needn't worry. That which I seek to do, I do of my own volition and with all my heart. In pursuing this path, I fully expect to earn the censure of our friends, and to deserve it, but I shall forge on regardless. Forge on as you yourself did when faced with a similar predicament. So I ask that you have faith in me, in what we do. But we were talking about your journey. Before the others arrive, I would hear how their bodies fare. Oh, and the bread I shall save for later. For it has been many years, I have not forgotten the feats of mastication required to consume it, nor how unconducive they are to conversation.
Forgive the delay.
We have visited every region and confirmed the presence of Asians throughout the realm.
Lest a grave predicament be made to seem hopeless, it should be noted that they are of inferior rank. The black-masked minions who answer to the red.
Yes, a gaggle of schemers attempting to exploit recent events, to sow the seeds of petty conflict. Fortunately, nothing of any great concern has come of their meddling just yet.
We also encountered a number of the Crystarium's former defenders, busily solving this problem and that in a bid to become warriors of light.
Their zeal is to be applauded. It is but a pity I cannot encourage them on their cause.
Not knowing Elidibus set them upon it, no. Both the troubles to be solved and the villains to be vanquished are his doing too, like as not. And so, with apologies to the aspiring warriors of light, I believe it best that we deal with the Asians quickly and quietly.
I quite agree.
But tell us, what news from the source? How fare our bodies?
Not so good. Well enough, for time is not on our side.
Indeed. Heartening though it is to know we can stay a while longer, returning home must remain our priority.
This seems an appropriate moment to ask about the spirit vessel. Have you made any progress?
We have, as it happens. One moment.
The red stones. Then this doth mean...
For the benefit of all, permit us to explain. As you will recall, using white auracite as our starting point, we fashioned a vessel for mind and memory both. Yet, though it served this purpose admirably, the process of imbuing it with one's complete essence proved a somewhat thornier proposition. Simply put, the memory would not accompany the mind, And so, we looked to the Allagan's mastery of memory transference for a solution.
This approach was not without its own complications, however, relying as it does upon blood, which inanimate objects notably do not possess. We duly explored methods of suffusing the vessel with drops of the aforementioned. Alas, our painstaking experimentation succeeded only in making me feel faint, and singularly failed to imbue the crystal with the necessary properties. It was then that an idea occurred to me, namely that we might fuse the vessel not with normal blood, but with my crystallized essence.
You're doing this for our sakes. So far be it from us to complain. But don't think we haven't noticed what's happening to your arm.
It falls well short of offering up my life in exchange for yours, which was your only stipulated prohibition, as I recall. And it is but a small price to pay for delivering you home.
Assuming it works. We shall soon know if this grisly addition will serve as a suitable conduit for the subject's memory. Though not soon enough to warrant your waiting. The test is like to take a while.
Let us be off then. We have Ascians to attend to, among other things.
Forgive me, but I count 6 vessels, and there are only 5 of us.
One is for testing purposes. I will personally use it to see whether the crystal functions as it should.
And if it does, wouldn't that mean that your soul could also return to the source?
Yes. In theory, at least. But there is a distinct difference between your circumstances and mine. While your corporeal forms want for souls, my past self does not. Mayhap our essences would blend, or mayhap they would curdle. There is no telling what might occur.
And you'd be willing to take that risk?
I would.
I see.
I for one support the Exarch's choice. To be alive is to be driven by a purpose, and few are as driven as him. It's stupid, but I've never really stopped to think about what would happen once the vessels were complete. And now? No, there's no point. I hope the test is a success, truly. Yeah, but you can't come along, that's the problem, right? And I'm sorry, I know it was childish to storm off like that. Probably to feel the way I do as well. Pull yourself together, Alisaie. When our grandfather first decided to journey to Eorzea, Alisaie did not take kindly to my silence on the subject. Don't pretend to understand things you don't, she said. Or rather, shouted. Having oft been the object of her scorn, I am predisposed to sympathize with the Exarch, but I do understand how she feels. Better now than I ever did, certainly. As for a moment, Serenia, I would speak with thee on the matter of the Exarch's mooted return unto the source. Thou wilt have observed that our friend spake not in certainties. Yet, if bad luck has the right of it, 'tis possible to predict the outcome of his plan with some confidence. And it is their assessment that, given the opportunity, the Exarch's soul should successfully merge with that of his younger self. Which is not to say the process is without complications. For one, the XIV has been subjected to an additional rejoining, an experience which will have wrought a change in his ethereal composition. As thou thyself didst demonstrate in merging with Artblood, however, there existed an affinity betwixt like souls, and this doth give us cause to hope. Yet there remaineth one immutable condition upon which success doth hinge. The Exarch must needs recognize his past self as simply that, himself. As our recent travails have demonstrated, memories are essential to the soul. Any discrepancy in the former may feasibly cause the latter to spurn its former flesh. 'Tis a seemingly simple yet complex problem. For nigh on a century our friend has striven only to deliver this realm, to deliver thee, and to that singular end did he cast aside his very name, that he might assume the mantle of the Crystal Exarch. Henceforth none can say what choice our friend will make, but I thought it only right that thou be made aware of these truths. Alright, but this is the point where I end this episode. Until next time, when we play more Final Fantasy XIV, I am Ace, and don't get lost.